Good morning, friends. Today we are going through the excretory system part 3, wherein the urine formation, the formation of urine, which is an excretory material in the human body, and it should be excreted out. How it is produced in our body, it is very important. The kidneys play a very important role in the formation of urine or the nitrogenous waste material. That means the kidneys have the specialized organs or the cells which are called nephrons. I have explained about nephrons yesterday. So the nephron is the structural and functional unit of the kidney. The kidney is made up of 1 to 2 million of these nephrons, which are the structural and functional units of the kidney, wherein the urine is produced or the nitrogenous waste material is produced and collected in the urinary bladder before expulsion. So, I have already explained yesterday, it has one Bowman's capsule wherein the glomerulus is present, which is the network of renal arterioles, that is afferent and efferent arterioles inside, wherein the walls of the arterioles or the capillary network is very thin with a single layer of epithelial cells. So in this portion, the filtration or the exchange takes place and the waste material from the blood is thrown out in the Bowman's capsule. So here, the Bowman's capsule, the first portion is the Bowman's capsule, the second one is called the Bowman's capsule, and it continues as the proximal convoluted tubule, that is PCT. Bowman's capsule, PCT. Then the Henry's loop, one loop is here, just like a hairpin, and it is called as the loop of Henle. And then ascending one, which is called as a distal convoluted tubule, that is a DCT, distal convoluted tubule. Then this connects to the collecting tubule and continues as the collecting tubule and opens in the minor calyx of the pyramid. So the pyramids, I have already explained about the structure, histology of the kidney, wherein the pyramids are present and the pyramids contain these neurons. In this neuron, the urine is produced. Now, this nitrogenous waste material that is called as urine is produced by kidney, the first point. The second point is the urine passes to the bladder for storage before excretion. So that is passed to the storage first. First it is stored in the bladder, then afterwards it will be expelled out. The third point is urine is produced by the exchange of the substances between nephron and blood in the renal capillaries. What it means? The urine is produced by the exchange of substances between nephron and the capillary blood. Here the exchange takes place. So, in the nephron, the urine is produced by the exchange of blood capillary portion and the nephron, complete nephron. Next point, waste products of protein metabolism are excreted. What are the unwanted substances present in the blood are excreted or thrown out from the blood. That is, one is the protein metabolism. The body, in the body, protein metabolism takes place and the waste is produced, and this waste should be expelled out, which is harmful to the body. So hence the blood removes these protein metabolic waste products and they will be excreted. Next point, water and electrolyte levels are controlled. In the blood, the water and electrolyte substances, they should be in optimum or in the perfect level. They should be in perfect level. But wherein the metabolic activities produce more water, more electrolytes, and this level is disturbed. For this purpose, the excess of electrolytes or the water should be removed out. Next one, the pH, which is called as the acid and base balance. The acid and the base balance in the blood is called pH. So this pH is maintained by removal of hydrogen ions. Hydrogen ions are very important electrolytes which are present for this pH maintenance. But if they are excess, then the level goes abrupt, and for this purpose the excess hydrogen ions should be expelled out. So the protein metabolic substances, electrolytes, water, hydrogen ions, all these should be expelled out. Excess of all these things should be expelled out as urine, and the blood is filtered. The blood is purified or filtered by expelling out all these excessive materials as the nitrogenous waste in the nephron. The formation of urine involves three main processes. This is the formation of urine, and this is the first figure wherein three main processes are explained. There are three main processes present in the nephron by which the urine is produced. The first one is glomerulus filtration. Glomerulus filtration. The second one is selective absorption. The third one is tubular secretion. So all these three processes take place in the nephron. In the nephron, there are three processes present by which the urine is produced. The first one is glomerulus filtration. So here is the glomerulus filtration, wherein the capillary network which contains the nitrogenous waste materials, excessive substances, they should be flowed in the Bowman's capsule. This is Bowman's capsule, and this is the proximal PCT and DCT and the collecting tubule. So here in the first phase, the waste material is transmitted or thrown out in the Bowman's capsule by the glomerulus. From the glomerulus or the capillary network, the blood which contains the nitrogenous waste materials is given out in the Bowman's capsule first. Now, in the second process, the necessary materials which are necessary for the blood or for the body purposes, they will be absorbed by this filtrate. The filtrate moves like this. So the capillary network on the PCT and DCT, here the capillary network which absorbs the necessary materials This transpiration, this movement, the first one, glomerulus filtration, wherein all the nitrogenous waste materials and excessive necessary materials will also be thrown out, because this is a very thin walled and the movement is easier, and all important materials are also thrown out in the filtrate, and these important materials which are necessary for the body are absorbed, reabsorbed. They are again absorbed by the capillary network. That is called as selective absorption. They select the materials which are necessary for our body or for the blood. The necessary materials are again reabsorbed by the capillary network. And coming to the next one, that is the tubular secretion, in which the filtrate which is passing away, passing downwards, that is the urine which is passing downwards, also contains some harmful materials which cannot be absorbed and they will be thrown out. They will not be thrown out because of some conditions. I will explain that one later when I will take tubular secretion. So here, some substances which are harmful for the body purpose, they will be retained in the tubular, that is the capillary only, that is in the blood flow of the capillary. And when it comes here at the distal portion, the unnecessary harmful substances will be thrown out in the urine from capillary network into the renal tubule. That is called as tubular secretion. This tubule secretes out into the urine. It secretes out the unnecessary substances, harmful substances, which will be secreted again inside the urine. So these three processes takes place here. Now coming to the first one, that is glomerular filtration. It is the first step in the urine formation. It is nothing but the first step in the formation of the urine. Next point, it is the process of filtration of blood from glomerulus, that is through the semi-permeable wall of the glomerulus into the lumen of Bowman's capsule due to difference in the pressure. So the pressure in the glomerulus and the pressure in the filtrate or the Bowman's capsule is different here. So by the difference of this pressure, the thin walled cells here from the glomerulus, they filter out all the unnecessary materials inside the Bowman's capsule. This is the first glomerulus filtration. So this is nothing but the glomerulus filtration. I will repeat once again. It is the process of filtration of blood from glomerulus, that is through the semi-permeable wall of glomerulus into the lumen of Bowman's capsule due to the difference in pressure. Now the third point is filtration takes place because there is a difference between the blood pressure in the glomerulus and the pressure of filtrate present in Bowman's capsule. This filtration takes place because of the pressure, which is different in glomerulus and different in filtrate, which comes out in the Bowman's capsule. Now the fourth point, the capillary network of glomerulus have 55 mmHg. Here I have shown the first one. Here the pressure is called hydrolytic pressure, and this hydrolytic pressure of the capillary is 55 mmHg, and this is produced in the capillary. That 55 mmHg pressure is produced in the capillary. The blood has that type, pressure, that point pressure. So here the pressure is created in the capillary and the filtration starts. For this pressure, there are two opposite pressures present inside the Bowman's capsule. That is, one is osmotic pressure here and filtrate hydrostatic pressure. The osmotic hydrostatic pressure and filtrate hydrostatic pressure, they are opposite to this one. So the filtrate should not come, or the nitrogen should not come inside the Bowman's capsule. They work like that, but they will fail. Why they will fail? The pressure of hydrostatic pressure of the capillary network becomes more. I will show you how it is. The first one is 55. The first one is 55 minus the second one, that is 30, plus this is 15 is equal to 10. 55 minus 30 plus 15. This 30 and 15, they will work together to oppose this 55, but they will fail because 10 hydrostatic pressure 10 mmHg is more in the blood of capillaries. Hence, the filtrate starts. Hence, the pressure will be exerted, excess pressure 10 mmHg. Then the filtrate starts. The first one, the capillary network of glomerulus have 55 mmHg hydrostatic pressure, which is built up in the glomerulus. In the glomerulus, there is 55 mm. Next one, the pressure is opposed. This pressure is opposed by the osmotic pressure of the blood, mainly due to the plasma proteins. The plasma proteins will be remained in the blood only, and this plasma protein help to increase the osmotic pressure, and that osmotic pressure is about 30 mmHg. The next one is one more pressure which is opposite to capillary hydrostatic pressure is by filtrate. Hydrostatic pressure about 15 mmHg present in the Bowman's capsule. The filtrate also has the opposing hydrostatic pressure. The net filtration pressure is 55 minus 30 plus 15 is equal to 10 mmHg, and this helps in the glomerulus filtration. Now the next point is this 10 mmHg causes filtration of blood through 3-layered filtrate membrane formed by endothelium cells of glomerular capillary together with basement membrane. Here glomerular capillary membrane have single layer of cells and a basement membrane, and the cuboidal cells of the Bowman's capsule. This causes the filtration of blood through 3 layers. This is first layer, this is second layer, and this is third layer. So 3 layers are present here to pass through the filtrate. So the 3 layers present, this causes the filtration of the blood through 3-layered filtrate membrane formed by the endothelium cells of glomerular capillary. This is the first one, together with the basement. The basement is also present there, together with the basement membrane and podocytes of the Bowman's capsule. Here the cells of the Bowman's capsule. So 3 layers will be there, and this nitrogenous waste material passes through 3 layers and comes here as the filtrate. So coming to the next point, in the first phase, that is in the first filtration, glomerular filtration, water and small molecules pass through from blood to Bowman's capsule. Water and small molecules, very small molecules, pass through immediately because the pressure is there, and they will pass through and come into the Bowman's capsule. The fluid filtered from blood stream into the Bowman's capsule is now called filtrate. The fluid is called filtrate now, which is present in the Bowman's capsule, or primary urine. It is also called as the primary urine, which passes through renal tubules. Next, blood cells, plasma proteins, and other large molecules which cannot be passed through will remain in the capillary. So the blood cells and the plasma proteins which will not pass through these 3 membranes will be remained in the capillary only, that is in the blood stream of the capillaries. The filtrate is very similar in composition to blood plasma. Now the first filtration here, the filtrate which is present in the Bowman's capsule is just similar to the blood plasma, only the difference is the blood cells and plasma proteins are absent here. The blood cells and the plasma proteins are completely absent here in the filtrate. In otherwise, it is completely similar to the composition of the blood plasma. Next point, the volume of filtrate produced by both kidney is about 125 ml per minute. Both kidneys produce 125 ml per minute. 2 kidneys. Both kidneys produce 125 ml of urine per minute, that is 180 liters. 180 liters per day. See how much huge quantity is produced by the kidney. The waste materials every day they produce 180 liters per day. Huge quantity of water waste is produced, but it is not completely thrown out. It will be reduced by selective absorption and tubular secretion. So it is very important. The 180 liters which is reabsorbed from kidney tubules and reduced to 1 to 1.5 liters per day. 180 ml ಯೂರಿನನ್ನು ನಾವು ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ಯೂರಿನನ್ನು ನಾವು ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದಾಗಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಿಷಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂರಿನ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಅದು ಹಾಗಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ 180 ml ಪ್ರತಿ ದಿವಸ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುವಂಥ ಯೂರಿನ್ನು ಅಗೇನ್ ಫಿಲ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಫಿಲ್ಟರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಫಿಲ್ಟರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಬೈ ದೀಸ್ 2 processes, selective absorption and the tubular secretion. The water which is present in the filtrate is reabsorbed again because the body needs water. Maximum water is needed by the cells. The metabolic activities taking place in the cells are mainly due to the presence of water inside. So this water is reabsorbed and finally only 1 liter or 1.5 liter is produced, and this will be stored in the urinary bladder, that is the bladder. So in the bladder only 1 liter will be there and it will be expelled out. Per day 1 liter. From 180 to 1 liter it comes. Means 179 liters of the filtrate is reabsorbed and only 1 liter is thrown out. It will be reabsorbed. The necessary materials will be reabsorbed. Water will be reabsorbed again in the two processes, that is selective absorption and the tubular secretion. Next point, the relation reabsorption takes place in the renal tubules by selective reabsorption and tubular secretion methods. This filtrate passes into the first part of the renal tubule. So this filtrate here, the filtrate produced here is passed in the proximal convoluted tubule and continues in the renal tubule. Now the second one is selective reabsorption. Selective reabsorption. Here the selective reabsorption, the reabsorption from the filtrate back in the blood takes place in the proximal convoluted tubule, PCT. In the PCT, the selective reabsorption takes place. The cuboidal or columnar epithelial cells of PCT have microvilli to increase the area of absorption. The columnar or the cuboidal lining of the thin lining of the cells which have the microvilli for increase in the absorption area. Many substances are reabsorbed here, including reabsorption is water, electrolytes, number 3, organic nutrients, like glucose and protein, amino acid, I think, glucose and amino acid. Glucose and amino acid, which are nothing but organic nutrients. Number 4, only 3. Water, electrolytes, organic nutrients like glucose and amino acids are reabsorbed here in the PCT. Only 60 to 70% of filtrate remains and reaches loop of Henle. So here in the proximal convoluted tubule, the selective reabsorption starts and water, electrolytes and organic nutrients like glucose and amino acids are reabsorbed by the capillary network which is present above the PCT. So above the PCT, the capillary will be there, and the capillary in the blood of the capillary reabsorbs the water, electrolytes and the organic nutrients. So only the 60% remains in the 180 ml, 180 liters. Only 60% is remained and passes to the loop of Henle, here in the loop of Henle. In the loop of Henle, water, this is in proximal convoluted tubule, and in loop of Henle, water again, sodium and chloride, sodium and chlorides. So sodium and the chlorides and the water are reabsorbed in the Henry's loop. So in the Henry's loop, the reabsorption takes place again. The water is reabsorbed, sodium is reabsorbed, and the chlorides, which are very necessary for the blood. These are all necessary materials which should be reabsorbed by the blood, because they have to be supplied to different parts of the body, and they will be thrown out immediately in the urine in the first part, because the pores will be very small and the walls will be very thin, and single layer of cells, only 3 layers will be there. Moreover, the pressure is more there, and all necessary materials also thrown out in the filtrate, and through this filtrate again reabsorption takes place. Water, sodium and chlorides are reabsorbed by the Henry's loop. Now 15 to 20% of original filtrate remains and passes to the DCT. Only 15% or the 20% of 180 liters remains in the Henry's loop, and it will be passed through the ascending limb. This is descending limb, this is loop, this is ascending limb to the DCT. It is passed in the DCT. Now the composition of filtrate is very different now, because only 15% or the 20% is remained. Out of 180 ml, only 20% is remained. 15% is remained. And this percent filtrate is very different. The composition is very different. It becomes more dilute now, because necessary electrolytes, ions, they are reabsorbed now, and only the water is present there. Excess of water is present, so the urine is diluted. So this 15% is a diluted urine due to reabsorption of more electrolytes, especially sodium. Sodium is also reabsorbed here. So the urine becomes very dilute. Selective reabsorption takes place by active transpiration. The selective reabsorption takes place by active transportation. I will show the figure also here. If this is the capillary network, single layer of cells will be here, epithelial cells, very thin cells, thin walled cells, which have the pores here on the wall, and this is the renal tubule. If this is the renal tubule, then here also cuboidal or columnar epithelial cells are present, which have villi, and from capillary endothelium from here the selective reabsorption starts. The filtrate, from the filtrate, water, sodium chloride, chlorides are all entered or forced inside the blood stream of the capillaries, and this is called as active transportation, or selective reabsorption takes place by active transportation only. The active transportation between these two walls, active transportation. So at the sites in the epithelial membrane, using chemical energy to transport substances against their concentration. If the sodium level is here, sodium is also here again, and excess of sodium is taken in the blood stream, which is necessary further. So the concentration here and the concentration here is more, it is very less here. against the concentration it moves. That is called active transportation. Against the concentration of the electrolytes, they will move from higher concentration, lower concentration to the higher concentration. This is called active transportation, and this is done by the chemical energy which is produced inside the walls. The chemical energy will be given, the chemicals will be responsible for this active transportation. Several hormones play an important role. Several hormones play very important role in the selective reabsorption, because the active transportation should be taken place. So for this active transportation from the renal tubules to the bloodstream is by active transportation, and this involves the chemical energy. And this chemical energy comes from the hormones. The first one is parathyroid hormone. Just a minute. The first one is parathyroid hormone. Parathyroid hormone secreted by parathyroid gland. Parathyroid gland, which regulates the reabsorption of calcium and phosphate from DCT and maintains normal blood pressure